Hello guys, welcome back to another inspiring session on Inspiring Pages. A page a day keeps your hopes alive forever. Today we will be reading on the topic, don't let rejection keep you down. Don't let rejection keep you down. And I read, too often when we suffer some kind of rejection or disappointment, we get so discouraged that we settle right where we are. I guess it wasn't meant to be. We rationalized, or I thought I could go out with the attractive person. But maybe I'm not good looking enough. Or I thought I could get the promotion, but I tried and failed. Maybe I don't have the talent. It didn't work out. When disappointment or rejection knocks you down, get back up and go again. We give up too easily on our dreams. We need to understand that just as God supernaturally opens doors, sometimes God naturally closes doors. And when God closes a door, it's always because He has something better in store. So just because you've come to a dead end, that's not the time to give up. Find a different route and keep pressing forward. Often our greatest rejection comes from our greatest direction. When you come to a closed door or something that doesn't work out in your life, instead of seeing that as the end, regard that as God nudging you into a better direction. Yes, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes we may not like it, but we cannot make the mistake of just sitting back and settling where we are. Out of our greatest rejection comes our greatest direction. I take it again. Out of our greatest rejection comes our greatest direction. Back in 1959, my father was the pastor of a successful church. With a thriving congregation, they had just built a beautiful Back in 1959, my father was the pastor of a successful church with a thriving congregation. They had just built a beautiful new sanctuary, and my father had a bright future. About that time, my sister Lisa was born with something like cerebral palsy. Hungry for a fresh start from God, my dad went away for a while and got alone with God. He said the scriptures in a new way, and he began to see how God was a good God, a healing God, and that God could still perform miracles today. My dad went back to his church and he preached with a new fire, a new enthusiasm. He thought everybody would be thrilled, but the congregation's reaction was just the opposite. They didn't like his new message. It didn't fit in with their tradition. After suffering much persecution, heartache and pain, my father knew the best thing for him to do was to leave that church. Naturally, my dad was disappointed. He didn't understand why such a thing should happen. But remember, out of rejection comes direction. When one door closes, God is about to open a bigger and better door. My father went down the street to an abandoned feed store. There he and 90 other people formed Lakewood Church on Mother's Day in 1959. The critics said it will never last, but today, nearly 50 years later, Lakewood Church has grown to become one of the largest churches in America and still going strong. I don't believe that my father would have enjoyed the ministry he had, and I don't believe he would have become all God created him to be if he would have stayed in that limited environment. Here is the key. The dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself. Sometimes you have to get out of the environment in order to see the dreams fulfilled. I take that again. The dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself. So sometimes you have to get out of that environment in order to see that dream fulfilled. The dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself. Consider an oak tree. If you plant it in a pot, its growth will be limited. Yes. Once its roots fill that pot, it can grow no further. The problem is not with the tree, it is with the environment. It is stifling growth. It's stifling growth. Perhaps you have bigger things in your heart than your present environment can facilitate. That's why at times God will stir you out of a comfortable situation. When you go through persecution and rejection, it is not always because somebody has it in for you. Sometimes that's God's way of directing you into His perfect will. He's trying to get you to stretch to the next level. He knows you are not going to go without a push. So He will make it uncomfortable for you to stay where you are currently. The mistakes we make at times is getting negative and sour. We focus on what didn't work out. When we do that, we inhibit the opening of new doors. A few years ago, Lakewood Church was trying to buy some property on which we could build a new sanctuary. We had looked for months and finally had found a wonderful 100-acre tract of land. We were so excited. However, the day we were too close to the deal, the people sold the land right out from under us. I was terribly disappointed. And I had to tell myself, Joe, God has closed this door for a reason. He has something better in store. Sure, I was down. And I admit that I was discouraged, but I had to shake that off and say, no, I am not settling here. I'm going to keep pressing forward. A few months later, we found another nice piece of property. It would have worked as well, but similar series of events transpired and the owner refused to sell it to us. Can you imagine? Another disappointment. I didn't understand it, but I said, God, I am trusting you. I know your ways are not my ways. This doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. But I'm going to stay in an attitude of faith and keep expecting good things. Not long after that, the door to the Compact Center, a 16,000-seat sports arena, opened up in downtown Houston, right in the middle of one of the busiest sections of the city. Then it became clear why God closed the other doors. Had we purchased either of those properties, those choices might have kept us from God's best. Throughout life, we are not always going to understand everything that happens along the way. But we've got to learn to trust God. We've got to believe that He has in the palm of His hand and that He is leading and guiding us, that He always has our best interest at heart. I know people who have experienced rejection in their personal relationships. Maybe their marriage didn't work out. They put all those years into it and now they are hurt, rejected, going around defeated and expecting nothing good. They're not expecting anything good. I don't believe that divorce is God's best. Unfortunately, sometimes it is unavoidable. If you have been through a divorce, understand that God still has another plan for your life. Just because somebody rejected you or walked out of your life and left you hurt, that doesn't mean you should retreat and settle where you are. That rejection did not change what God put on the inside of you. It doesn't mean that you cannot yet be happy. When one door closes, if you will keep the right attitude, God will open another door. But you have to do your part and keep pressing forward. Too many people get bitter, they get angry, and they start to blame God. Instead, let that hurt go. You may not understand it, but trust God and move on with your life. Don't look at it as the end, look at it as a new beginning. Somebody may have rejected you, but you can hold your head up high. Knowing this, God accepts you, God approves you, and He has something better in store for you. Oh, we are almost done with this chapter, so let's end it here. Friend, don't die with the treasure still inside you. Keep pressing forward. Keep reaching for new heights. Give birth to what God has placed in your heart. Don't let other people talk you out of your dreams. Listen to what God says about you. Not all the negative voices. When you face rejection and disappointment, don't stay there. Know that God has another plan. That closed door simply means God has something better in store. You may not have experienced God's favor in the past, but this is a new day. You have not seen, heard or imagined the wonderful things God has in store for you. I take that again. That closed door simply means God has something better in store. You may not have experienced God's favor in the past, but this is a new day. You have not seen, heard, or imagined the wonderful things God has in store for you. Don't be weighed down by the distraction and disappointments in life. Instead, keep stretching to the next level, reaching for your highest potential. If you do that, I can tell you with confidence, your best days are in front of you. God is going to show you more of His blessings and favor, and you will become a better than you ever dreamed possible. I take that again. God is going to show you more of His blessings and favor, and you will become a better you, better than you ever dreamed possible. So basically, what this closing page or chapter 6 to tell us that the dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself, in the sense that sometimes the environment in which you find yourself may be too smaller for the bigger dream that you have. So sometimes you have to go out of that comfort zone. You have to go out of that limited zone. You have to get out of that negative environment. You have to launch yourself out of those smaller goals around you. Sometimes the reason why you're not succeeding is because of the associations you are keeping. Those people can't bear the bigger dreams you hold. Those people can't deliver the bigger dream that you are about to conceive. So sometimes if you don't launch out of those smaller environments, you will never be able to go to the next level. You will never be able to broaden your horizon. So sometimes it's not that your dreams are too big, it's because you are moving around people with smaller dreams. You are moving around people with negative vibes. You are moving around people who don't see themselves going bigger and better than their families ever did. They don't see themselves being bigger than their generation. So you have to launch out of that environment. Like an oak tree, you can't put an oak tree in a flower pot. It is too big for that limited pot. So you need to launch out. So thank you very much, and I hope that you took something out of this page and chapter. And as we close, ensure that these pages do not just be written text to you, but they should be inspiring pages that gives you hope for life forever, that gives you a new beginning, a new feeling, not for you to be rejected and disappointed because something didn't go well for you. See it as a new dimension, a new rerouting of your path to what God has destined for you. Thank you very much for watching Inspiring Pages episode 12, and we end the chapter stretching or keep pressing forward, and we'll be continuing with a different chapter on our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share, and drop your suggestions and opinions on how best we can make this inspiring page a beneficial and impactful community. Inspiring Pages, a page a day, keeps your hopes alive forever. Thank you.